Hello, welcome to Tournament 6 of Magic Spellslingers. I am your host today, Lukas Litzinger, lead designer here at Wizards of the Coast, and I am joined by some very special guests. I have our producer extraordinaire, Jay, with us. Hello, Jay.
Hello, great to be here. Huge shout out and thank you to all of our players.
Also, thank you to the host of this tournament, Obis, Antler, everyone who goes the extra mile to put these on. They're super fun. I had a lot of fun bouncing out in the group stage. I believe, though, the next person that we have with us got a little bit further than I did. So I'd like to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. MetagameFitness himself, John. How's it going,
Hey,
John?
how's it going? I got knocked out by buxfoo, so I guess I don't know if I'm rooting against him in this finals or not, but I guess if he beat me, I'm rooting for him to win. So I'll say go buxfoo.
All right, we have one buxfoo fan, and the finals today is a best of 5 match between buxfoo and Emtee. And I just want to say, you might be listening to this shortly after we record it, or maybe a year from now, or 2 years from now, or perhaps even thousands of years from now as an artifact of a long-lost galaxy. But this game was not played live right now. We are watching a recording. It was played, I believe, a couple of weeks ago during one brief shining moment of the meta before the release of Hellvault Unsealed. So you will not see new Hellvault Unsealed cards. You will not be seeing Lab Maniacs or Gutfire Devils or any other cards that you might have grown to love over the last couple of weeks. You will be seeing other cards, and so this is kind of a snapshot of the meta at a specific time. I believe it will be the period of time in between Hellvault Unsealed and when some balance changes, patch 1.01.02 came out, which lowered the Titans to 6 mana, for example, as well as some other changes. But we'll get into the games, and we'll see what Spellslingers our players choose.
Yeah. Featuring the D&D Icons class cards. Go Wizard!
That's true. The D&D Icons were out, so we'll see if those make an appearance as well. All right, well, let's get into it. Game 1. And we are off. Here is game 1 between Emtee and buxfoo. It looks like Emtee has chosen Vraska and is now making their mulligan. Buxfoo is on Gideon.
Yeah, I think in this matchup, I'd rather be on the Vraska side in general. You have a little bit of removal to manage Gideon's ability to summon, and then you just have like a pretty reasonable clock as well. So I think Vraska's favored, but I also know that buxfoo is a Gideon specialist, so I wouldn't count him out.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy we didn't see a concede there. I was worried for a second. They were just going into the audio settings to make sure everything.
buxfoo is not going to concede. I am. I suppose I will be on Team Emtee. Go Emtee. Good start. There you go, buxfoo. What you gonna do?
We have a 2-2 looking at a 3-3. That's not usually the position you want to be in as the Gideon player. Though you may have a shields up or something in hand that would allow you to attack. Would you bluff this metagame? Would you bluff this, John?
I don't think you're attacking here with the rookie. I think that's largely a chump attack. I mean, this might allow you to attack and trade, but I think you still just want to save up until you can turn your Gideon on. But you also do get to, if you trade, turn off half of the Bone Club Shambler's finale, so that's a reasonable attack.
All right,
it works out.
Looks like
grudge match time. Grudge match time.
Grudge match is good here. Grows the Shambler, makes it bigger, allows him to eat the untested rookie and now make an attack and offer a trade. Though usually as Gideon, you're not so interested in trading since you're trying to build up 2-3 creatures on the board.
Yeah, I don't know, Bucks. I would have let that through.
I am a little bit surprised with that block. But
I would have let that through.
Maybe buxfoo was saying, I don't have an easier way to remove this. I'm going to have to bite the bullet at some point. That thing can block, but it is giving Vraska some extra triggers for the finale as well.
Bucks is building up the Paladin class cards.
That's true.
Somewhere in the top 3 there's what, do damage equal to the number of creatures you got on board?
Yep, somewhere in the top 3.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I kind of would have preferred to have kept creatures in play. Powers up your removal. But if you have an Arowana, I guess you fix that right away. So I'll eat my words.
Spawning so strong. Secret tech for Gideon has really come into fashion lately. Very, very good card getting 2 creatures for 1 mana. And they're also pretty resilient with that 3 health.
So everybody's wondering, is that card in Buxfoo's hand the Paragon of Balance?
That is a great question. That
is a great question.
Play with those Arowanas on the board. Looks like Emtee, though, has something going on here. 7/7, going to take some damage from this attack because Gideon's going to be jumping out here, but has a grudge match in hand. Has another grotesque, which is a little bit less good since there's nothing to kill, but has a grudge match and a Worm's Wake to potentially get some more blockers down if they don't take too much damage over the next turn or 2.
Yeah, if there's no Paragon of Balance, I like Emtee's position here. There's only a 3/3 that's like anything of significant size at all. But Emtee's hand is also a little bit awkward. Those Worm's Wakes are a little slow in the more aggressive matchup, so taking some turns off can be very painful there.
Still, if it's not a Paragon of Balance, like you're only staring down 4 points of damage. It's early in the game.
Right.
I would get the worms out if I can, and then swing hard.
Buxfoo taking up.
Oh, what is this?
Okay, that changes quite a bit.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty
good play.
In this case.
It's only 1 damage. Yeah.
So, am I wrong, or did Buxfoo could have attacked with the Arowanas, but didn't want to throw one away?
Why would you do that? Yeah, you gotta save it.
I don't know. Maybe
you gotta save it.
If you attack with that, you can either attack with those Arowanas, even if you don't want to lose your 3/3, it'll give you 4 damage. So it's trading a 0/3 for 4 damage, and I think that's worthwhile. But
I would have been aggressive there. I like playing aggressive as Gideon, especially you have 1 card in hand right now, and Emtee has 5. So I feel like the longer this game goes on, the more value Vraska is going to generate. Ooh, double Worm's Wake activation.
There you go, Emtee. That's what I would have done. Well played. Probably trade the 4/6. Ooh.
There's the Aura, which is probably what Buxfoo was waiting for. I want to throw away an Arowana without it, but I think I still would have swung in last turn. Still, some nice damage coming out here. Very low. Could have been lower, though. So we'll see. Can Emtee turn the corner and get out enough blockers? Looks like the Yawning Portal is going off. Picked up a Blood Queen off of it, which does allow you to drop a 3 and play the grudge match for 2, which isn't a bad position to be.
Oh, just attack. All right.
If I'm Buxfoo, I let this through. Damage. You're the aggressor here. You're just looking to get damaged through on the other side. So here comes out the grudge match. Probably pick up another blocker with the Drana. Nothing else to do. So you just kind of hope that your opponent doesn't have some removal here, I suppose. Ooh.
All right.
Ooh. Oh boy, that could be something.
That could be a +4/+1. It could be a sneak.
Flying, something evasive. Obviously, you have a flying blocker, so you're probably most worried about. Sneak doesn't do a ton here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
character advantage.
Yeah.
I think flying would be pretty good.
Yeah.
But honestly, there's probably not any shortage of great options from a Stoneforge Mystic when you're trying to get through the last few points of damage.
Buxfoo.
I don't know if buxfoo's playing the fair fight, but fair fight is super fun when you have the paladin class cranked all the way up.
It's true. We don't know if buxfoo is running a more aggressive version or a version with fair fight. Looks like got relentless on the Arowana from the Stoneforge Mystic. So
it's got to be one of the worst hits.
That is not a great hit. Emtee has some tough blocks to make here, though.
Yeah, this is hard.
That's 6-2.
Trade that. Yeah.
Have to trade probably with the 2-5.
You could block the Drana.
But you could.
And save yourself.
You could block it with the Drana as well on the 6-2 into Gideon.
Yeah, I think we definitely want to clear a 2-5 because we have a removal spell in our hand and we're able to take them off of their third creature to attack with Gideon. But
I don't like that.
Yeah, the relentless there means that Gideon's still on for next. Well, you still have a removal spell, so you can.
But you got the stone. You got the stone.
Right. It is no longer off, and now you have to deal with another attacker.
Again, buxfoo made it to the finals. I'm not gonna try to backseat drive.
Oh yeah.
I think I would have preferred to leave the relentless creature alone and only have 3 creatures staring me down in this case, and made the other block.
Yeah, there are a couple of decisions buxfoo has made that initially I wasn't sure of, but they ended up playing out reasonably well. So
working out. All right. So there's a good blocker in Drana.
Also, Turn to Stone is pretty nice because it not only gives you a removal, it also gives you another blocker.
Yeah. Take one of the 2/3s.
Could come in handy here.
Yeah, take the 2/3. Do you pop it? No, you got to save it.
Yeah, you need all of your
blockers. You got, because Gideon's coming.
Well, you don't need all of them. I guess you could let a 0/3 through. Oh no, it's a 1/4 of courage.
Yeah,
you're right.
You're at 1 here. Any damage is game over. Does buxfoo have reach though? Do they have a way to finish the game?
Oof.
The longer this turn goes, the more worried that they don't. But still, they're in a decent position. They're in
a good position.
They can't keep taking a lot of damage back though. They are down to 10.
Yeah. And that the Drana's just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Drana does become a better blocker.
The better blocker.
The merchant can draw you 2 cards. You can get another card off the throne. So not having it here.
Every turn that passes favors Vraska more. So we got to end it. We got to end it on the winning side.
Destabilize, not a great draw there. It's not really what you wanted.
We'll take it. Take it. Clear the 1/4 with the 5/2, right? No.
Yeah, I would take.
Well, you got to block everything.
You have to block everything.
You have to block everything.
You're like, can I keep something alive? And that's the only one you can keep alive, other than the 2/2 that can't attack. So you want to keep your.
Oh, and the rookie gets bigger.
The rookie will get bigger.
Ouch.
Yep. And if there's a creature follow-up, I think that's probably closing in on the end of the game. Oh, one mana short.
1 mana short.
The Crush of Worms. That is devastating. Recycle Grotesque. Bad in this case. The Throne, pretty bad in this case.
The Yawning Portal. Doesn't give you a mana. Well, no, it does give you a mana. It does give you an empty mana.
That is true.
So yeah, we just didn't make it to turn 9.
Basically, Emtee is just looking for a Hail Mary here, see if there's anything that they can find. Nothing off of the throne that's going to change the outcome of this game. And so game 1 is going to go to buxfoo with Gideon.
GG. Good game. Good game. Very entertaining.
Good game.
My prediction was wrong. Vraska did not win that one. Yeah.
So
the opening hand was pretty decent as well. Just I think maybe taking a turn off for Worm's Wakes. I don't remember if that ended up causing much damage. Like there was a Sylvia on that turn, but there wasn't an attack, so that didn't even seem to be punishing. It was just sort of like a critical mass of creatures on Gideon's side, combined with that Whir of Courage.
Yeah, and I think a lack of small creatures drawn by Emtee there toward the end really hurt. Wasn't able to effectively use the throne. Also would have loved to be able to draw like 2 cards by killing off the Merchant of Death on their turn. Wasn't able to do that, had to block. So yeah, nice win by buxfoo. And now based on the format of the tournament, we're going to see a different matchup in game 2. That's for sure. John, do you want to explain how this works?
Yeah, so the finals is a best of 5 match. Each time a player wins with a Planeswalker, they can no longer play that Planeswalker for the rest of the match. So,
Spellslinger.
Yeah, sorry, Spellslinger. So buxfoo will not be able to play Gideon for the rest of the match. Emtee will still have the option of playing Vraska.
A different Vraska or the same Vraska? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They can play the same Vraska deck or a different one.
So yeah, we'll have to see if Emtee believes in Vraska enough to go back to that deck or decides to switch off. Either way, let's jump into game 2 here. All right, here we are with game 2 of Emtee versus buxfoo. Looks like this time we do have a completely different matchup. Emtee is on Teferi, choosing what cards to keep in their opening hand. buxfoo has switched to Vivien. John, how do you handicap this matchup?
Yeah, so I guess I would suspect that the deck with Day of Judgment is probably favored against the mid-range creature deck, to the point where Emtee kept a 7-mana card in their hand. So
I agree with that.
You're also playing the School of Wizard, and that is one of the best cards to hit with your Wizard's Familiar. Let's be honest, having a cheaper Day of Judgment that can surprise your opponent a turn earlier, though it may not really be a surprise at this level of play, is pretty amazing. Even if it is only a 1 mana discount, that was one of the balance changes that was, at least at the time they are playing, recently made. Versus
should he have armed a disorient? What do you guys think?
I think not. I think if you disorient here, you lose your fragile mana gem, which is pretty important to casting like some of your higher cost stuff like the Day of Judgment. And you also have the ability to retaliate this turn.
You have the retaliate, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
The discount missed the Day of Judgment. It hit one of the retaliates. Looks like going for the expensive retaliate because they're just going to arm.
This looks like a Worm's Wake. Yeah. So
that was a nice call there by Emtee. Didn't play the signature spell. Could have played the signature spell. Chose to do the disorient. Bam! Knocks that worm down to 2 power. Only takes 2 damage. That
done.
Goes down Vivien, and that is the ward upgrade right now on Vivien as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and tagging that Worm's Wake with the disorient is great because you don't have anything that can answer it right now. The retaliate's a little shy, so shrinking it helps you out a lot.
So you're just going to try to out-heal with that land, hopefully hitting a couple times.
Yeah, you're probably just going to build up to your level 3 wizard to start making some water elementals, and then once that's on, it's going to be really hard for a Vivien to come back from a Day of Judgment that leaves behind a 5/4.
Yeah, because that thing has sneak. All right. Still going, but with Vivien, you just never know what's gonna show up.
Oh yeah,
we have a haste upgrade now.
Yeah, see, you don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't.
A lot of damage can come out of nowhere from Vivien for.
Mm-hmm.
Also, once the arc bow comes down, you can get some nice evasive creatures. On it.
Teferi play.
But overall, I'd say this is setting up pretty nicely for Emtee. Like they also got Turn to Stone.
Yeah, this looks like it's probably another Worm's Wake too, which is going to possibly walk into this negate. It looks like Emtee is hovering over it. Probably has the same suspicion.
Yeah, I think Bucks actually probably just burned the whole turn thinking it was an absorb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's very common thing
right?
to come up.
You're just so paranoid staring down Teferi with the negate.
Yeah, and Worm's Wake is usually like, if you think your opponent's holding up absorb, Worm's Wake is excellent to arm. In this case, it turned out a little awkward because there wasn't an absorb, there was a Call the Wind and a negate. But that's okay because our Kotha Fed resolved, and it got haste because the worm didn't suck it up.
And it choose to get the 6/6. Maybe if there wasn't a flyer on the other side of the board, you think about choosing the 6/6. Instead, chose to just pick up mana. I guess in order to afford the grudge match to clear it out. But you are still only attacking with 9 damage, which is good.
9 is a lot.
It's good, but if you had, if you had one more mana, wait, you do have one more mana. Yeah, if you had, I guess, one more mana than Purge, that could have been 15 damage. But 9 is not bad. Emtee is down to
Emtee
with a +2 heal from the Sacred Sanctum. But there goes that Turn to Stone.
Yeah.
I don't even think I noticed when they got Turn to Stone. All of a sudden, it's just like, nope, Turn to Stone. That's a nice card to have.
Yeah, sneaky signature spell.
Indeed. Very sneaky.
Yeah, so it's looking good for Emtee. Very little pressure on the other side of the board. You have enough life to play with where you can fit in this elemental mastery without feeling like you're probably going to get punished too hard. And yeah, it's just looking like a pretty good game for the control deck.
Yeah, when you have elemental mastery, Second Sun's Dawn, and Day of Judgment, and you're about to hit 7 mana, you're feeling pretty good as a control deck.
Pretty good. What are you doing now?
A couple of flyers. Now it's kind of risky to do that mastery. So maybe now I have to walk back what I said, and you have to play some more defense.
I would not play the mastery here. I'd probably play a Second Sun's Dawn.
Yeah, do the Dawn.
Because your hand is like stacked with late game stuff. So
I hope
you don't really want to take a risk.
And I basically just stop them from getting too much damage on me and hopefully overextend a little bit so I could maybe Day of Judgment next turn. I think Day of Judgment this turn is okay. But I think you might be able to suck up another creature if you wait. Didn't wait, just chose to play it safer and go the Day of Judgment route.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's defensible.
I think that's okay.
All right, Tarmogoyf coming out and picks up armor from Vivian.
You know you got to arm the glare. I would be doing glare. Another day.
Another Day of Judgment. Wow.
Another day.
Not a bad draw here. You could arm the glare and arm the absorb. It's not a bad.
Yeah, this is a tricky turn. Like, I could see doing a lot of things. Arming both of these traps is fine. It makes your future turns really awkward though if these both go off, because then you're stuck with a bunch of 6 and 7s that you can't play multiple spells in a turn. I was kind of tempted to play one of those big spells and then try and double spell on the next turn. Or sorry, spells has a different meaning here. Playing like a Second Sun's Dawn or a Mastery with a trap on the following turn.
Also, by doing that, by having all of the mana open, you do tell
your opponent you do open yourself up to this line of play where your opponent sniffs out your glare.
Yep, sniffed out the glare, also chose not to play into the absorb. So yeah, I do think that maybe dropping a Second Sun on that turn.
That was a good draw. That gives you another thing. You can do 2 things this turn. That's great.
That was a nice draw. Healer brings you up to 15. You're still pretty far out of range of some sort of alpha strike from Vivian here.
Yeah.
That's a trample upgrade now on Vivian and an animal arrow. Going to hopefully snag something impactful from the deck. Vivian is sitting on 10 mana, so if you have something expensive, that's not bad. Oh, not bad. 6/3 flying trample, Mistraven.
Yeah, that water element used to be what, 2 to bring back?
Yeah,
me 2 to bring back.
Yeah, that was just wrong.
It was a little bit.
It was wrong. 2 to bring back.
We have now
properly costed. Thank you, gentlemen. Properly costed at 5 mana, 5/4 with sneak. That's fair.
It is a reasonable looking card by itself now.
All right, I think this is the turning point of the game. You get to Day of Judgment with Absorb up, and I think it's lights out.
Day of Judgment into an Absorb means your opponent can't really play a whole lot. Or if you play a whole lot, they need a really good follow-up, and you're sitting in life here. 2-second Sunstons.
With 5/4s attached. Yeah.
With 5/4s attached to them as well. Yeah, I have a hard time imagining what buxfoo could pull out here as Vivian to make this go.
That's something. That's not nothing. A 4/3 flying is not nothing.
It's not nothing.
It's a 4-turn clock, and then more with the second Sun's Dawn. So you're going to need a lot more than that. Ooh, sitting on 10 mana. That's not a great sign.
Ooh.
The Arcanist. The Arcanist. Not sure that you need the Arcanist. Probably just pick up the Water Elementals and the second Sun's Dawn. It allows you to draw into the second Sun as well. Keep that Absorb up. Just keep running this back until buxfoo does something different.
Look at that. 24 life on Teferi side. Like almost back to the beginning of the game.
Eladamri.
27 life, another 3 life.
Absorbed. Yeah, this was a rough matchup for what it looks to be more of an aggro or mid-range Vivian list. Does have some nice power in the air, but I don't think it's going to be able to get there in time. Attacking with the Elemental. Have some options here. You could go to Fairy Staff, see what you get. Maybe play the Arcanist, depending on what you want. But
yeah, this is another embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, picking up another Elemental isn't bad either. 2
lethal on board
is lethal.
Sneaky lethal on board.
All
right, Bucks.
Do it.
Do you have a miracle in hand?
What do they have? They don't have Miracle yet because Hellvault Unsealed hasn't been released at this time. So they're relying on a Briarhorn, which is some decent buff, but nowhere near what they need.
It's not going to do 30 points of damage in one shot.
It is not going to do that.
No, not going to do it.
Like a win for Emtee, which would tie the series at 1 game apiece. If they can bring this one home, and they have, that's it. GG concede from buxfoo.
Yep.
Well played, both. Well played, both sides. Well played.
That's a good game. Pretty textbook control deck. Able to deal with creatures with a Wrath, and then slowly start to stabilize and close the game with a bunch of water elementals.
You feel so helpless on the other side.
So now that you've each won 1 game, but what are you thinking? Like, what are you going to pull out now? Like, if you're Emtee and buxfoo, theoretically you've played 2 of your best decks. Do you go back to the deck that you lost with? Do you bring out a 3rd deck to try to surprise the opponent? What are you thinking here?
Yeah, this is a interesting position where you kind of try and get into your opponent's head and guess at what they're gonna do. I think if you see Vivian on your opponent's side this game, it's a reasonable assumption that they might just run it back. And in which case you could try and pick a deck that's good against it. I could see moving back to Vraska. I think that's a defensible thing to do. I think Vraska is probably a little bit favored in the matchup against another mid-range creature deck. And I think Vraska is just also very strong. So even in a vacuum, it's pretty good pick. And on buxfoo's side, I guess you could say that maybe you suspect your opponent's going to bring back Vraska and you pick something that is good against it. But yeah, it's a very interesting mind game that's probably going on right now.
I think people were playing the crazy Strahd deck with Nissa, remember?
That's true.
1 turn killed Strahd deck. That could be coming out against
could be seeing that deck.
Bucks.
That would be.
Let's go see.
On deck
Stop
to play.
talking.
Let's
What's
go
next
see. My projection is that we will see the Vraska deck again. The question is it going to be this game? Well, let's find out. Let's see what they chose. It is the Vraska deck again from Emtee, running it back against the Vivia deck from buxfoo.
Oh, you guys called it. You guys called it.
I will take this compliment, even though I don't think I called it, and I left it open for them to do all kinds of different things. If you just throw enough noodles at the wall, one of them will stick.
All right, well, a noodle has stuck, and Vraska's Grub has come out onto the table. Strong turn 1 play, but not seeing anything right now to follow it up with on turn 2 from Emtee, which could be concerning.
On a side note, for all you fans out there, throwing noodles at the wall is not how Wizards are doing our design work, even though you top designers are talking about noodle throwing, guys.
Look, don't tell everyone our design process.
Oh, okay, sorry. That's a secret.
We'll say that sounds like a tastier design process than what we currently have, so I'm going to take some notes here.
But we did find a way to fill in our turn 2.
Yeah.
Good grotesque card as well. So we'll fill out our battlefield pretty nicely.
That's right. This is a pretty strong start now with the draw of that cocoon. Will die or birth itself into another creature here at the end of the turn.
Another 2.
Those are pretty good hits
at the end of the turn due to Vraska's aura. So 3-1 and a 2. Both of those strong creatures don't have debuts. You do miss out on the debuts, and neither of them have it, so you get full power creatures from the cocoon here. This is a strong start by Vraska. You're buxfoo right now, and it's looking like it might be. It's looking like it might go in the direction of your opponent / you might be here for a long game. That probably changes a little bit of what you might want to be doing with this Vivian deck. You are no longer the beatdown, as it were.
Yeah, this is a rough spot to be in. Like, even your very large turn 2 creature got outsized by the grotesque. And so much of Vivian's power comes from pressing that button, and if you're behind on board already, it gets increasingly hard to spend mana on that. So this is looking pretty like a pretty rough opening to play against as Vivian.
Vivian also doesn't have a lot of ways to kind of mass remove creatures or reset the board. So you're going to have to kind of just like eat through these one by one, or try to go over the top with getting your flyers powered up. So no spells in hand. The block on the Cranial Consultant.
Yeah, that was interesting. I was expecting maybe birds would trade off with maybe the Elite Vanguard, since you're kind of getting low in life, and I'm not sure if you're not blocking this turn, what is the bird going to block in a future turn?
Should Krav have done the damage on the grub and gotten some extra mana instead?
It's debatable. I think that the 2/2 in play is still worth a fair amount right now. It's going to have to get blocked at some point because of the low life total on buxfoo. So,
because I'm thinking you want to try to ramp your way into the worms as quickly as possible, and 2 empty mana crystals does get you there.
Even if you do destroy your grub there, you're still a couple of turns off from being able to summon the Crusher Worm. So I think it represents a pretty good amount of damage in the meantime.
Yeah, it looks like Emtee is pressing the advantage. Nice attack. buxfoo had to throw away the Elvish Infuser on the recycled Grotesque, which lived with 1 health. And that's one of the worst feelings, when you just feel like you're forced to block and you still can't even kill the attacker. That just is awful.
There is a nice upgrade ready to go.
Yep, 3 health.
03.
That'll be big.
That's not bad.
It is pretty big. It is also turnable to stone. So it could...
It's going to get stoned, very soon.
Could just get removed right away. And the beatdown will keep coming.
Also, it's a little unfortunate that now you have something to outsize your opponent's 6/6 once you've already blocked it with your 5/2. and dealt 5 damage to it, so it's kind of overkill, even if you were to get the chance to trade off with the 6/1 and eat it with the 6/9. But
yeah,
as John mentioned, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It looks like this is setting up for pretty punishing turn to stone from Emtee here.
Box is thinking
2 mana. I mean, a grudge
2 mana.
match might have a grudge match in hand, perhaps, but didn't have a spell earlier, so
yeah, grudge match would be here. I mean, you wouldn't feel great about destroying a 6/1, but you do need to get stuff off of the board.
Yeah.
And you are at a precariously low life. All right, a 4/3 is also good.
Did Bucks miss an attack?
With the bird?
With the bird?
I don't remember.
I was wondering the same thing. I feel like they didn't attack with the birds, but it's possible.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say they attacked.
Okay.
All right, we'll say they probably did it. We can edit this out later if they did, right? Right? We have interns for that or something.
No.
No.
We have hardworking fan community members who's doing all this work out of the goodness of their heart. God bless you guys. Thank you for playing our game and doing all this work to create content.
What you hear is what we said. No editing, coming at you live. We'll try to keep it PG.
Watch your mouth, Jay.
What? I didn't say anything. What did I say? I was being
exactly. I'm preempting it.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, we've got an attack, and it looks like that bird is finally gonna get in the way of that Vanguard, and things are looking a lot more manageable now on Vivian's side. So maybe buxfoo is able to piece together a comeback.
That is possible. There's another cocoon and a crush of worms waiting on Emtee's side. I would still rather be Emtee, I think, in this situation. Just knowing the power of Vraska. Anything that like buxfoo can bring out here, the Arc Bow, the Stoneforge Mystic, like I have enough life if I'm Emtee that I'm not too concerned about it at this moment.
You say that, but Vivian can always find an Arc Bow, pair it with that Bonder, and just go to town.
Can be very dangerous, but I feel like I'll have at least a turn of warning here. Though it is true that, Vraska is usually good at keeping some of that fragile mana up, and currently Emtee has none of it, so is a bit off of the worms. And now got a 10 mana Shroud from the Yawning Portal, which isn't particularly helpful here at this time.
I was asking for a straw to show up, but I doubt we will go to 10 mana in this fight. Or do we?
We might go to 10 mana in this fight, but
the
life totals are low enough. Took the aggressive lightning catcher there.
Yeah, that could be a good way to close out a game by surprise, potentially. Like, you don't expect a burn spell out of Vraska very often.
Double kill, burn spell, 4 damage on the board with that guy, right?
Alright, spending the fragile on the Worm's Wake. We'll pick up 2 more creatures here. Nice hits. Again, I would say, at least on one of the creatures from the cocoon. Picked up Malice.
Malice just keeps coming back. Just keeps coming back. Over and over. Alright, Bucks. 7 mana, 8 health, 2 creatures on board. It's nowhere near over. What do we got here?
It's nowhere near over, but again, that extra damage from the lightning catcher could potentially finish it off. Like that 7 trample damage on Krav is not to be underlooked. That could force a block to allow some of the other creatures like Malice to maybe go through if buxfoo is feeling a little bit safe with their 8 hit points left. 6/9 helps. That's a nice blocker. Would be nice if it was a 7/9. Hey, how about a 7/10? Even better.
Yeah, that's a pretty good turn.
That was a clutch grudge match right there.
Wow. Okay. So
I'd probably just throw something in front of the 7/3. Probably let the 2/3 go through here.
Yeah. I believe Bucks has a mystic weapon in hand somewhere, right? From the mystic? Could be a game-closing flying thing or something.
That is possible. I don't think they played the Mystic Weapon unless it was just stats on one of the creatures, but I believe you are correct that one of those 3 cards is a Mystic Weapon.
So,
Emtee deciding to attack with all 3.
I guess if you lose the Inventive Crafter to a block, it makes Malice harder to block because it'll come back.
That's right. Malice comes back.
4 things die.
4 things died. 1 thing died. I'm counting. I got my hand.
All right.
2 things have died.
So now, if you trade, you bring back Malice.
No.
So that was fine.
Malice doesn't come back.
All right, and now that lightning catcher is
Yes.
deadly on attack, and regardless of whether it gets blocked or not.
Yeah, and that is key. That's why you hold it in your hand. You kind of hide it a little bit because buxfoo is like, I can take the damage. I don't need to block and trade.
There's a way though. The Stoneforge Mystic can chump it for a turn, so you get a turn at least.
You do get a turn at least.
Mm-hmm.
You have a turn to find an answer to it, but out of green.
Oh, you don't have to answer it if you just reduce Emtee's life to 0.
I was gonna say, out of green, your only answer is really through the air, or
if you just give that 7/1 flying, that could be the end of the game.
I don't think there's going to be another path to victory for buxfoo. Okay, I mean, you can delay it here with the Raven, sure. Looks like they're considering if they want to flip the 3/3 or the 3/5. I'm a little bit surprised that they flipped the 5/5 back. I think I would have liked to attack here with my 7/1 and 4/1, perhaps.
Oh, see the weapon.
Yep.
Got the flying.
Right. We've got a game again.
We do. That was big. Had the flying weapon in hand, takes Emtee all the way down to 4 life.
Oh,
this is getting close.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, and now it's over. It was so close until it was over.
Double finale for the win.
Let's draw from the Vraska's throne. Means Emtee has redemption on Vraska here in game 3.
Great game. That was entertaining. Well played.
Yeah, well played, Emtee. Well played, buxfoo. That was great on both sides.
Yeah, that really went back and forth. It felt like Emtee kind of had the advantage, and buxfoo fought back, and then was looking strong there at the end until that lightning catcher just did its thing.
Yeah,
that was a good draft. Picking the lightning catcher, good, masterfully chosen.
Yeah, if you had just looked at that game on turn 4, I would have said there was no chance of Vivian coming back. But it took a top deck Vraska's throne to end the game.
2 games to 1. One more game to become our tournament champion. Can they do it? Let's find out. All right, welcome back. Game 4. Emtee going for the win. Chooses Nissa. Maybe we will see the Strahd Nissa combo deck here, and buxfoo is now onto Fairy, looking to return the favor of the earlier loss to him.
Yeah, this is interesting. They're still holding on to the Day of Judgment in their opening hand against Teferi, which is odd. I wonder if that's just a habit if you're playing the Wizard class. Okay.
No.
Decides to mulligan it.
It is the Strahd deck. Yes.
Picking up a Birds of Paradise and Venom Archer. Well, I don't know if you run the Colonian Tusker in the Strahd deck, but you do run Centaur Sage, so it is probably the Strahd deck.
Okay, what just happened? Why didn't Emtee play at least the Venom Archer, just saving it? Or the Bird of Paradise?
I would have dropped the Venom Archer there. I think I would have dropped the Birds of Paradise, but you can save it to draw more cards with the Centaur Sage.
Yeah, the Centaur Sage is the reason there. You don't really attribute much value to having a 1/2 in play. And if you get to cycle it with your Centaur Sage later on, it's probably higher impact than maybe you get 1 or 2 damage.
Also, the Birds of Paradise can be amazing if you have both the Centaur Sage and Nissa's signature creature out, because then you draw 2 cards in one. You get 1 card for playing the creature from the Sage, and you get 1 card for getting the Fragile Mana as well. So that can be a very powerful draw engine in this deck.
And that is why you guys are Mythic and I'm still struggling in Diamond today.
Oh, but Venom Archer came out to play anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that's a little bit surprising to drop the Venom Archer there, because there's no real threat coming from your opponent. Teferi is a rather slow deck to go against.
Yeah, you could maybe be worried about a Call to Wind coming soon. As it is, you don't have much else to spend your mana on, so you probably could have fit it in on the following turn if that was what you were worried about. But
if you're going to drop a creature, though, wouldn't you want to drop the birds to try to accelerate yourself toward the Centaur Sage?
Well, that's also an option. If you're worried about Absorb, though, you might not want to play the Centaur Sage just into that. And you also have Draga Druid that can turn your Birds of Paradise into another way to draw cards. And you are very interested in just drawing, playing fairly greedy and drawing as many cards as you can if you're playing.
Definitely want to draw cards. And we do have the Sylvan Shrine to pick up some extra mana here. Always useful. You got to get up to that, at least 12 mana.
Yeah, that's actually something I would have been possibly interested in holding. If your opponent knows kind of what you're up to, they are pretty interested in holding Absorb up on your 6 mana turn. And if you have a Sylvan Shrine, you can use it as a test spell, but I guess that's not what ended up happening this way anyway, so it all worked out.
And buxfoo only had 2 open mana, so this is looking pretty solid for Emtee. Getting some card draw now off of the Centaur Sage, getting mana off of the Sylvan Shrine. The question is, though, where is Strahd in that deck? How long will it take to get it? And will buxfoo be able to get some flyers or reach creatures down? So one thing that... So the way the combo works is you generally play Strahd, 10 set your opponent's life to 10 and your own. Then you play Hasten, 2 mana. And that allows them to attack. So if they don't have a flyer, great. If they do have a flyer, then you use, Venom Archers, Blindsides, Grudge Matches to hopefully clear them out of the way. But the deck also wants to run Treetop Lookouts, because you can get into the position where, especially against a Teferi or a Jace, you're just stuck not being able to play Strahd into one of their counter spells. And so Treetop Lookout is great for stopping that, and also getting through the immolating glare that can really ruin your day.
Right. Or I've seen people run Divine Snare the turn before.
I don't think to get Divine Snare is a card.
Vine Snare Hunter.
Oh, Vine Snare. I thought you said Divine Snare, and I'm like,
no. Divine Snare, yeah.
Divine Snare sounds like a good card.
Sounds like a cool card.
Nice.
Vine Snare Hunter.
Yes.
Debut all enemy creatures lose flying, which is cool.
Yes, if you have the Vine Snare Hunter, that's another great way to get around your opponent's flyers. It does make the combo a little bit more expensive in some cases if you're, trying to drop it on the same turn as Strahd as Hasten, but I have definitely spent the 16 mana to do Vine Snare into Strahd into Hasten.
I'll just throw out the possibility that this isn't even the combo deck. We haven't seen any of the pieces yet, so we're not sure.
Well, Emtee is going to draw into it with that with the artifact.
Yeah, we'll find out shortly.
We'll find out shortly.
All right. There it
is.
Are you convinced now?
I am convinced.
Yeah, the Colonian Tusker, was something that surprised me a little bit, since I don't run that in my version of it. But there are different ways to build it, and depending on how defensive you want to be, the Tusker makes sense. So we have the Strahd. We're looking for the Hasten, and then we also have the Day of Judgment to potentially clear out creatures as well. And it's also a great way to extend the game if your opponent is in a stronger position than you are currently. But this is setting up pretty nicely for Emtee. A little bit short on the mana right now. Doesn't have the hasten. I will say a lot of decks seem to run one copy of hasten, and I really like being greedy and running two, just because when you're playing a combo deck, you just want the combo. You don't want to extend the game. You don't want it to go longer than it needs to. Sometimes that second copy of hasten is a dead card, and you draw both of them before you get the Strahd, but I'm willing to take that risk personally, so I don't know how many copies Emtee is running.
And buxfoo has 2 negates, 2 absorbs.
Right? Immolating Glare as well.
Immolating Glare.
Perhaps. So that's why the Treetop Lookout is so good. Like, there's just so many things that you have to get through in some of these matchups without the Treetop Lookout. Getting the Treetop Lookout is sometimes the only way through.
All right, do you just play a 4/3 this turn, or do you just all right, I guess we're just playing a 4/3.
I think Strahd there because buxfoo spent all their mana on Day of Judgment. That was an interesting choice, actually.
Yeah.
No.
I think Strahd is like pretty vulnerable. You really probably do want to just kill in one turn because there's a lot of good reactive tools from Teferi. Like if you Strahd and then just lose it to a removal spell, or
have it taken away from you with
have a way to win. But
I do agree. Most of the time, I will not be greedy, but I do think Teferi doesn't have a lot of aggressive removal spells. So, like, unless they have another Day of Judgment or the Immolating Glare, that could theoretically open up a window. The problem, though, is Emtee doesn't have a way to get through any flyers anyway. So then they also just drop a flyer, and then your Strahd is in trouble. And if you lose the Strahd, well, you don't really have an alternate way to win the game unless you are able to beat down with Crush of Worms, which we haven't seen yet in this deck either.
Yeah, that might be coming. Teferi usually runs Arcanus, and that means you got all that craziness to worry about.
Yeah, if I'm Emtee, I'm a little bit concerned that I don't have a better draw engine set up here. I don't know how many cards they have left in their deck or how likely they are to see some of the answers that they need. But at this point, you are looking for that Vinesnare Hunter to get through the flyers. You are looking for
right.
Then, but if you do all of that in the same turn, that is 16 mana. So you're still a couple of turns away from doing all that. There's the hasten.
All right, well, we have the combo in hand. We just need to find a way to get it.
Day of Judgment here. You could Day of Judgment here just to try to clear it out and see if they play another flyer, because then you could combo next turn. But they choose to instead.
I think you don't necessarily want to Day of Judgment until you're closer to trying to kill, because they can always just replace their board with more flyers potentially.
And they did. If you had Day of Judgment in there, the other Call the Wind would have come out, and you would have been in the same spot. So nice play not to drop the Day of Judgment. I think you will, depending on what the card draw here is, you will probably want to deploy it, though. Maybe if you can get some draws off the Centaur Sage first, that would be great.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation where you kind of want to, you kind of don't want to draw your whole deck super fast because you want enough mana to be able to play all of these really expensive cards in the same turn so that you have a safe route to victory.
I would just Lava Wave here. I don't know why I would attack into this.
Because there is a negate. There's a negate on the other side.
That is definitely a possibility. You do have to get through them at some point. And we've
seen about the Immolating Glare. Disorient, okay.
Alright.
It was
There's
the
Glare. That played out perfectly.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's the Immolating Glare and you're trying to bait it, which I do like that play, I would just attack with an Arowana, but
yeah,
that worked out too.
Now you wave. Nice.
Now you wave. You just could
have
you could have waved and kept your Centaur Sage a little bit healthier.
I mean, care.
It's never attacking again.
Very it's just likely. Drawing cards. Sage is just there to draw cards.
You know that it's not being countered, but
yeah.
But I would like to, maybe keep.
Yeah.
Sage.
So now, gentlemen, that artifact can be any trap, right?
Well, this can be any trap, but this is,
any trap.
It can be. So that's why, unless you have something to bait out the Absorb, I don't know. You can't really risk Strahd here. You need your Treetop Lookouts. No treetop lookout. Like,
That's
go
a
for
test
it.
spell.
You have the mana.
There we go.
There you go. That'll bait it out.
There it goes. That's the absorb.
And that was created by Teferi's staff, so that's huge right
There's
there.
still one. There's still one lurking. Yeah.
There's one more lurking, and they could get another one off the staff. So you gotta pay attention to that, because if that wasn't created by Teferi's staff, yes, they could have one, but the likelihood drops. Looks like they used the staff again, so you'll probably look for another card to bait it out, or again, just throw onto that treetop lookout. And you still
Do you run two treetops? You run two treetops?
I think most play one.
You can run two. I
could
usually
see
play one.
playing two.
Usually you don't need two, you just need one. I imagine Emtee is looking for one.
Oh no. Another staff.
Another
you don't want to
staff.
see that.
Another staff is very bad. Yeah, Treetop is looking like the card that you need for this victory, so you hope it comes up soon. If it comes up, like, that's game over. There's enough mana on Emtee. They have the Strahd, they have the Hasten. They just need that final piece of the puzzle to bring this one home and win the championship. That is not it, but it can. It's good mana.
That's actually a pretty good draw. Yeah, it lets you test spell for more absorbs.
Yeah,
and if they play a flyer, that's also a way to get through. So
I would have tested it. Especially sitting on a.
No, I mean, if you wanted to try it all on this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you had, you could test with the blind side, see if they have it, and then you still had 12 mana to go for the win.
Yeah.
I think I would have done for
it. I could see, yeah, probably wanting to do that, because each turn that goes on, you just see what Teferi's doing over here, drawing extra cards, getting the more looks at absorbs.
So he isn't putting a lot of pressure on you, but I mean, hey, look, that two health on the Centaur Sage ended up mattering. How about that?
Yep.
Now you actually are a little bit concerned about your life total, and also
you're gonna have to Day of Judgment.
You're gonna have to Day of Judgment here.
Do something.
You got to blindside first before your Day of Judgment. You can't just Day of Judgment.
The problem is blindside needs a creature in play. All right, Forest Patrol is good pull there. Play the Forest Patrol.
Gets a negate.
Blindside. All right, there goes the negate. That's good.
Does this result?
There goes the absorb.
No, it does not.
Absorb.
That's game.
Oh, is that game?
That's game. Look at that. That Snapshell Turtle grew. The Aether Figment is out. Wow. That is game. The window is closed. The window is shut. That is it.
2-2.
We are going
to come down to the fifth game.
We're going to game 5.
Wow. Well played, everyone. That was nerve-wracking to play against Teferi. Always.
I'm sure Emtee is saying, where is my treetop lookout? Where is it in the deck? Wow, what a game. And
what a game.
Going into game 5, Emtee choosing to play Drizzt and buxfoo, trying to get that elusive win with Vivian.
They're 2-2. This game, this is for all the marbles.
Yeah, and this is an interesting matchup. They're both green, mid-rangey kind of decks, though Drizzt leans more aggressive than Vivian typically. So I would say historically I would prefer to have been on the side, but it's not by a lot. I think the matchup is kind of close. So this will be a good game 5, I hope.
Fantastic start with the Matron.
Yeah. Best card in your opening hand, probably.
Got a giant growth sitting there.
Also, you're very happy to see your opponent rolled haste instead of stats on their
stats early game out of Vivian are so strong. But yeah, as you said, sitting on the haste, which is not fantastic, staring down a 4/3 Tusker. Eastbonder gets a 3/3, so you can offer the trade here. But then you will be taking the Matron and taking Guinevere.
The growth.
Oh, yeah, this could backfire if they block the matron, so you probably don't want a giant growth there.
Yeah, you have pretty solid plays with Regna and Hero's Call. And I like this move to just roll in, offer the trade, take your 5 damage, and then follow up.
That was an interesting block. Like, because Giant Growth wouldn't have saved Malice, I don't think you would expect them to have armed growth there, and maybe you just want to get the legend off of the board. They didn't know that there was a follow-up Regna, but that was an interesting decision.
I usually like to leave Malice on the board as long as possible, just because she is so much more likely to come back. But it is true that, like, if they don't have other legends to follow up, that could be a big tempo.
Yeah, and 3 mana is typically not the turn where you expect to see another legend coming into play as much. So
picked up
usually
armor,
those 4 drops.
Dropped a bird. Stoneforge Mystic, draw for Emtee. That's pretty good. You could
that's an excellent curve this turn.
Yeah, potentially drop something right now. Looks like all stats. It's a little bit unfortunate. I would have liked to see maybe some evasion for Malice.
Yeah, but I would
this is tricky.
Put it on Regna and go, because Regna's invincible when attacking.
She is invincible, but if you put it on her, it's kind of eggs meat basket, and they have the birds to block this turn, which makes it a little bit awkward. So they took the +3/+2 buff. Looks like they're going to hold it in hand for a better target later.
The rookie.
The rookie will probably come out, and the rookie would also be a great target for next turn. So I like that play as well. See if buxfoo goes.
All right.
The button. Will they roll the button first, or do they have something else in hand that they want to drop? They rolled the button. That looks like
Shroud.
Ward. Yeah.
Ward.
Not helpful right now.
Still no stats.
Oh.
The button. A nice Momir Vig, though. Ward not so great here, since if you stop one half of that combo, you kind of stop the other half as well. Looks like the Courage got 1/1 and Trample as its upgrade.
So Mystic Weapon, the rookie, and go?
Apparently,
or we
reroll weapon first. Oh, flying.
Ooh, more flying.
That's nice.
That's excellent.
I think I would probably Mystic Weapon, the rookie and maybe Malice as well here and go.
Yeah. Huge turn. There's only 14 life on the other side there. And the cat keeps getting bigger.
The cat does keep getting bigger. Interesting choice putting the flying on the rookie.
I wasn't expecting that.
I was kind of thinking of doing it the other way, but this does work as well because you'll survive. You're guaranteed to survive against the 0/1 in the air, as well as the
and it gets bigger. Rookie gets bigger if blocked. Yeah.
It's just easier to let the rookie through here, I think, and block the Regna with the Birds of Paradise.
Probably.
So probably won't see
damage though. Oh my goodness, you can't. Next turn is 6.
Next turn is a lot of damage. So
and the
pick up a block here with the birds. Okay.
This is snowballing pretty hard. We haven't missed an attack with a legendary creature on all of our turns. Except for turn 1, obviously. But
I am completely neutral.
Apologies. Emtee. It's not. It's just
I am biased.
Point of view.
To root for the person whose hand I am currently seeing.
I'm rooting for Bucks.
That's true. You did go on record.
I said that I was rooting for Bucks.
Who did I lose? Did I lose to Emtee? I might have lost to Emtee in the group stage. Yeah, maybe if it wasn't for Emtee, I probably would have been here. So go Emtee, like prove out stage group 5. I don't remember. I'm just making stuff up now. All right, Emtee, you got a giant growth in hand. Regna's back in hand after the mystery pops it. Tarmogoyf, Hero's Call. You can play 2 of these. Which 2 do you choose?
Hero's Call.
Okuan.
Show up this turn.
But Karazakar.
Is Okon better than Karazhan? I was gonna say, like, you can play both of those this turn, and one of
Turn
those
2,
flies.
well, 1.
Like, yeah, I think you just want the flyer.
The flyer, the ray, Razakar does seem to be the obvious choice there.
It may not be the play this turn or not. We'll see. But
yeah, if folks, please try Karazakar with the sound on. Some of the best voiceover work that was ever recorded in the history of the game. Hilarious performance.
Oh, that was interesting. Mistraven didn't want to trade with the flyer and just ate the Stoneforge Mystic.
We actually might have the sound on. I think I just muted our stream. So, like, they might actually be hearing this. I don't know. Let's find out. Maybe not. Maybe that's not good. You want to hear us, too. Hopefully, if you're listening right now, maybe you can hear Karazakar right now. All right, Emtee.
In
a tasteful emote. You know?
Yeah, nice.
All emotes are BM. Don't listen to Jay.
No.
John, when you start
tasteful
playing,
emotes.
Do you just immediately go to your opponent and mute them?
I very frequently immediately mute after they say hello. Yes.
You people.
Right, 6 damage coming in from the Raven and a 4/4 flyer, so that's a good spot to have. I want to see what ray we're at, though. What ray does the Karazakar currently sit on? Guess we'll find out.
Yep.
Is it?
Here we go.
Oh yeah, the damage one.
Oh,
pretty great.
That is a great hit. Getting low. buxfoo is on their last legs, backed into a corner here.
The giant growth pops.
Blowout.
And the rookie gets bigger.
You had blocked the other way. I guess you could have at least finished off the rookie there. But
it's looking like Dritz is going to take it home for Emtee. There's got to be
we don't know yet.
a lot of resistance on this turn.
There's a matron comes back.
5 lethal attackers on the next turn.
No Day of Judgment in the green deck.
No Day of Judgment in the green deck. Not easy.
And that's the game. Congratulations, Emtee. Yeah, turn one Malice and never missing an attack. It's very hard to come back from.
I could have definitely seen that play out very differently without that turn 1 Malice, but Emtee got the Malice, got some nice follow-up legendary creatures like the Rugna as well, and was able to bring it home with Dritz. But honestly, like, great matches, great games from both players. They should be very proud of their achievement going through a stacked tournament field with a ton of strong players to get all the way to the finals. They're both winners in my book. Emtee is just a slightly more victorious winner.
The prizing, I believe, was a foil mythic of choice and a foil epic of choice for both for the winner and the runner-up. So please let us know, and we will fulfill that promise. Huge thanks to all the players for Spellslinger. This game has been a labor of love for all of us on the dev team, so we are so happy to see everybody playing and enjoying our game.
Well, they also pay us.
Yes.
Some of them.
We're happy to see people play our game.
Wizards does pay us. That is true. And some players pay Wizards. So like it's kind of like the water cycle. But I agree. Thank you to everybody who plays the game. Thank you to everybody who participated in the tournament, and big thanks as well to the tournament organizers. This was tournament 6. So there's been several of these. They've all been a lot of fun. I hope you all sign up for the next one as well, that I'm sure is going to start soon. So I think that's it from us. Any last words, Jay or John?
Nope. Please keep playing. Know that we are participating in the community and listening to the comments and the bug fixes and everything. It's all been a journey that we take together with the fans. Again, this is WotC J signing off. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, I'll just +1 that. You stole all my words.
All right. See you in the arena, Spellslingers. And have a good night, everybody. Or morning. I guess.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon.
Yeah, probably should have just said that. Let's try that again. Where are the interns? Let's get them in here. Edit this out. All right, let's try that again. Run it back. 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody. See you in the arena, Spellslingers. Signing off. WotC Lukas.